The URC is the world's most diverse rugby competition. It's currently experiencing a period of growth, with crowd sizes and TV audiences swelling year on year. And it seems that people on the outside are starting to take notice. Rumours about various parties being in talks to join the league come around on a seemingly monthly basis. Since 2010, the URC has already grown from 10 to 16 teams, so it's easy to envisage it expanding further in the future. In this video, we're going to rate our top 4 candidates for joining the URC in the near future. Richard Cockrell may have only been in the Black Lion coaching job for a few months, but he is already making headlines, openly stating that the franchise wants to join the URC.
But Georgian Rugby has its sights on joining the URC, or the Black Lion joining the URC in the near future. A bit like the Italians did back in sort of 2010 to get into the URC and keep developing Georgian Rugby.
Black Lion are nothing if not ambitious. They've already played games in South Africa and South America and are rumoured to be seeking fixtures in England this spring. A third successive Rugby Europe Super Cup title and an eye-catching debut in the Challenge Cup has gotten some URC fans to call for the Georgians to be added to the league immediately. Rumours are that initial talks have taken place behind closed doors, but there has been no official comment from the URC themselves. Pirate Rugby rating? Don't be surprised. South African side Cheetahs have already been in the URC once during the Pro 14 era, only to drop out during the COVID pandemic. However, they are already back in the Challenge Cup, and some are calling their continued exclusion from the league unfair.
What about adding them in addition to, adding them as an extra team?
African rugby has a problem of how to entertain the Cheetahs and how to rather try and get them into the competition as well.
Rumours of them being in line to rejoin surfaced in 2022, but nothing ever came of it. Their success in the Challenge Cup suggests they could be competitive, and the huge crowd scene in South Africa suggests there would be an appetite for it. Pirate Rugby rating? Never say never. Italian rugby is currently in the best place it's ever been. Fantastic Six Nations campaign has reinvigorated the nation, whilst Benetton are right in the mix for playoff space in the URC this season. Severn may still be picking up losses, but performances are massively improved, and they are producing incredibly talented youngsters. But is a third URC team really feasible? The Pirate Rugby has spoken to Italian insiders who say the money could be made available to the team in the north of Italy should the opportunity present itself. The frontrunners for any third Italian spot would most likely be Rovigo, who have also previously played in the Challenge Cup. In January, the Pirate Rugby podcast was told that Rovigo would be interested in a URC spot should the opportunity arise.
It's an incredibly wealthy part of the country, and it's rugby mad. They do actually desperately need a third team, in my opinion, because Sebre Palmer and Benetton have got squads of about 50 players. There's 2 teams there definitely who I know are feeling very bitter about not being in the URC.
However, there would be some barriers to Rovigo's entry, not least their proximity to local rivals Benetton.
The issue there is if you put one of them in the BKT URC, you're actually not spreading the game across the rest of the country.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a big rugby playing population in Milan and an even bigger rugby population in Roma, and they're completely unrepresented by elite sport.
Pirate Rugby rating? Not anytime soon. This is a juicy one. The former English Premiership champions went bust during the 2022-23 season, but have since announced they've secured fundings to make a comeback. However, a return to the English pyramid is not what is being rumoured, but rather a joining of the URC. Now, a country having clubs playing in 2 different competitions has plenty of precedents. South Africa had teams playing in Super Rugby and the URC simultaneously, whilst American Raptors play in Super Rugby South America rather than the MLR. Rumours of English involvement in the URC have been circulating for some time. Both the Premiership and the URC are part-owned by CVC, who presumably would have the power to merge the competitions if they so chose. In fact, this very thing was rumoured just a few months ago. Wasps' inclusion in the URC is also the only one that the league have commented on publicly. The CEO, Martin Anayi, said it would be very open to having an English franchise due to the number of expats living in London and elsewhere around England. Ospreys recently staged a game in London which drew mostly South African fans, whilst there was also rumours of an English Premiership game being staged in Cardiff earlier this year, although this never happened. Were Wasps to be successfully admitted to the URC, it could be seen as a stepping stone for the eventual merger of the URC with the Premiership, something some people are in favour of. Pirate Rugby rating? Watch this space. And now a few honourable mentions. Following Portugal's heroics at the World Cup last autumn, some fans are calling for a team from that country to be added to the URC. However, Portugal's Rugby Europe franchise, Lusitanos, finished just 5th in the standings this season. The second best team in Rugby Europe is actually Tel Aviv Heat from Israel, but there have been no suggestions that they could be in line for URC spots. Then there is English side Ealing Trailfinders, who were at one point rumoured to be merging with Welsh side the Ospreys and certainly have the finances to make the step up from the Championship. Some have suggested a revival of Border Reivers, Scotland's third team that left the URC in the noughties, but there is no suggestion that this is on the cards. It is also important to say that not everyone would be in favour of further expansion. Many point to the huge carbon footprint the league already has without needing to add yet more air travel. Some have suggested that the URC should be split into 2 tiers, but this would likely be resisted by any potential second-tier clubs who could lose out on TV revenue. And then of course there is the lessons from Super Rugby, which expanded to 18 teams in 2016, only to rapidly contract back to 15 teams within 2 years, and has since dropped down again to just 12. But what do you think? Would you be open to new teams joining the URC? And if so, who? Let us know in the comments below, and thank you for watching.